Hi, all right, welcome to the next part of your math foundations of fractions. I'm really excited about this part because I have candy chocolates. So in my box of candy chocolates, I am starting with 6 pieces of chocolate. But throughout the video, I'm going to be taking pieces out and eating them. So hopefully at the end of the video, I'll give you one look at my candy chocolates and you can decide how many are left. I'm going to tell you what numbers you need to write down because you're going to do a quizzes at the end and you're going to be competing with your classmates. So let's begin. All right. I pulled out a few examples from my kitchen of different food items because fractions are a real world thing. They're not just numbers that you see on paper. And so I got to eat the chocolate. I have a bag of tortillas here. And on the tortillas, it says that I started with 50. I had 50 tortillas to start. Now, we had a birthday party this weekend. And as you can see, the bag is open. I no longer have 50 tortillas. I have less than that. And so if I know I started with 50 tortillas, and I want to know how much of my bag of tortillas I have left, I know my fraction is going to look something like this. I have so many tortillas out of 50 left. So how many do I have? Let's find out. There's only one way to. I like this video and the chocolate. Okay. I have 1/50th of my bag left, 2/50ths, 3/50ths, 4/50ths. I have 4/50ths of my bag of tortillas left. So I'm giving you this answer. You don't need to write this down unless you're taking notes, which is awesome. And but 4/50ths of my bag of tortillas, this is the fraction that matches the number of this picture or this video that you see in front of you. I could do it with, let's see, what else did I find? A deck of playing cards. Now I have my awesome Yooper cards to represent where I have taught in the UP. And so in my deck of cards, if I pull out, let's look at the top 4 cards. I'm gonna keep eating that chocolate. If I look, I have a red 2. Oh, no, I have a black 6, a red 4, a black 2, a red 3, and a red 2. I have too many cards. I only wanted 4. There we go. So I have a red 4, a black 2, a red 3, and a red 2. Okay, you're going to see these cards again in your quizzes, but I'm going to ask you a different question right now. And the question I'm going to ask you is, out of my 4 cards, how many of these cards are the number 2? So first, if I want to write this as a fraction, how many cards are we talking about? Now I'm asking you, how many do I have altogether? I said out of the 4 cards, how many are the number 2? So I have 4 cards total. 4 cards make my whole. Out of them, how many are the number 2? Well, if you look, I have a 2 here. And I have a 2 here. So 2 out of the 4 cards I have are the number 2. All right, so 2/4 of my cards are the number 2. Now, this is where you need to have your writing utensils ready. And the only reason why you want to write it down is if you want a good score in the quizzes and you're going to be able to compete against all your classmates. If you want a good score, you need to be prepared. So this is kind of like your test prep. I only have a few questions for you, so don't worry. Alrighty. First off, let's start with my chocolates. Don't worry, I didn't actually eat this many. But I have my box of chocolates here. In my box of chocolates, I said I was starting with 6. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 spaces. My question for you is, how much of my box of chocolate is left? Remember, you are writing a fraction. So look at this image. Pause the screen. Pause the screen if you need to. But you need to write out the fraction for how many of my chocolates are left. This will be a question on your quizzes. The next question you're going to see on your quizzes. Back to these cards. This is a different question now. My question is, out of these cards, how many are red? What fraction of these cards are red? Look at them. Pause the video if you need to. Write down your answer. You might want to be labeling your questions. What is the unit? So the first fraction you wrote should say the fraction of the box of chocolates. This fraction should be your fraction and then red cards. Okay. Now my last one, I pulled this right out of my fridge. This question is, how much of my egg carton is left? How full is my egg carton? So we've got empty spaces here. You should have an idea maybe of how many eggs go in a carton. If not, then pause the video and you can count how many spaces there are for eggs. And then how many eggs are actually in the carton. And that will tell you how full my egg carton is. Looks like I need to get to the grocery store. Those are the 3 fractions that you need to know going into the quizzes. If you feel ready, you're ready to compete against your classmates, scroll down in the website. There's an image. Click on the image, type in the 6-digit code, and you're good to go. So good luck.